Michael Vicks' star NFL career came to a stop back in 2007 after he pleaded guilty for his involvement in a dogfighting ring, and he spent 21 months in the federal prison. And today, we're going to be taking a look at what Michael Vick's 548 days in jail were really like. Michael Vick started serving his sentence in November 2007 at Northern Neck Regional Jail in Warsaw, Virginia. Michael Vick said he could only talk to guests through the glass, and that when his 3-year-old daughter, Jada, came to visit, she would ask why she couldn't see his feet. And after his visits, he would go back to a cell that was as small as a dorm room with a toilet, a shower, and a sink. So that was a reality check for somebody that was making millions only a few months ago. Vick was supposed to stay at Virginia prison for all of the 23 months, but he heard that a drug program could shave off maybe a year of his time, and Vick had been caught smoking pot before his sentencing, so he applied for the program, and good news for him, he got accepted. So on January 7th, 2008, he flew from Virginia to Kansas and ended up staying at the Leavenworth prison, which was named the largest maximum security prison in the world until 2005. But lucky for Vick, a part of the drug program agreement is that he'd be staying at one of the neighboring prison camps. Once getting to the jail on the first day, Vick was led to the cafeteria for lunch. Vick said that when he grabbed his food, he could hear people whispering about him, and lots of people were staring at him. He said black people sat on one side of the lunchroom and white people sat on the other side, but the black side was full, so he sat by himself on the white side. Vick had pork for lunch, but when he ate the prison pork, he said it tastes weird and not at all like pork, so the prison food was going to take some getting used to. And after eating the terrible pork for lunch, Michael Vick got to see his cell for the first time, and Vick said it was worse than solitary confinement, and it was just bunk bed units that held 8 inmates per group, and that definitely wasn't what he was expecting. Vick says that cockroaches would crawl all over the floor at night, and that guys would be doing stuff throughout the night, so it was hard for him to sleep, so much that at first he tried earplugs, but he then applied for a midnight shift job, mopping the floors for 12 cents an hour. A typical day for Michael Vick in prison would start with Vick mopping the floors in the early mornings and then watching TV until sunrise, and then he goes to sleep. He would wake up around 12, and then he would just chill the rest of the day and sometimes play chess with some of the other inmates. At one point during Vick's early days during prison, a guard told him to stay away from everyone and don't make friends because Vick's a target and there are many fights in this prison. Vick's personal assistant Charlie and his girlfriend Kajafa ended up finding a rental in Leavenworth so that they could see him more often. Fast forward to a day in March 2008, and Michael Vick received some bad news. He didn't get into the drug program, which made him very mad, since that's the only reason he transferred from the Virginia prison, was so he could leave prison early and sign with an NFL team in the off-season. So now Vick was stuck in Kansas, away from most of his family, and wasn't even going to get out early. His lawyer called the prison to find out why, but they wouldn't tell him, and fast forward to the NFL draft in 2008, where Michael Vick went to the TV room to watch the NFL draft, and Vick was still under contract with the Falcons and still talked to the owner, so he was hoping to return to the team. Vick had missed the start of the draft, and the Falcons had the 3rd pick, so he asked an inmate who they picked, and he said Matt Ryan. At this point, Vick had realized the Falcons were moving on from him, which made him even more upset, and on this same day, Vick found out his grandma died, and he requested permission to go to the funeral, but the prison denied, and Vick says that at this time, he realized he messed up and saw himself as an embarrassment to his family because he couldn't even go to the funeral and pay respect to those who loved him. During June in 2008, Michael Vick was playing in a prison basketball tournament when his team won, and another inmate accused Vick of paying off the refs, which led to Vick and the inmate almost fighting before people grabbed him and pulled the two away, because they knew if Vick got in a fight that he would get more time. Over the next couple months, Vick spent his time playing chess while talking with some of the inmates, and every Sunday during the NFL season, he would watch football with the inmates, try to teach them some things, and would even help them with their fantasy football lineups. Vick had to declare bankruptcy in 2008, and by the end of the year, his assistant Charlie had to start selling the boats and the cars that he had. With Vick's money getting low, his assistant Charlie had started driving buses, and Vick's brother was painting boats, which made Vick realize he didn't just wreck his life, he wrecked his family's life too. Vick also said his daughters used to cry after visiting him, but that after a while, they didn't even cry anymore. On May 20th, 2009, Michael Vick was released early for good behavior, and they released him in the middle of the night to avoid cameras. His wife picked him up around 4 a.m., and Vick even said he took some of the prison underwear and t-shirts to remember the experience. After getting released from prison, Vick returned to the NFL in 2009, and he had returned to being one of the best NFL quarterbacks by the end of the 2010 season. Michael Vick definitely learned a lot from being in prison, and after he was released, he said he was more thankful for everything and realized that one mistake could mess up everything again. So it kept him out of trouble and kept him focused. I hope you enjoyed an inside look at Michael Vick's 548 days in jail, and comment what you thought.